Today it's time for a professional match of StarCraft 2, and what I've got for you is a Terran versus Protoss, where we find ourselves on the map Oxide. Spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner, I'm playing with the blue Terran SCVs. From France, we have Clem. His opponent from Germany with the red Protoss probes in the opposite corner of the map. We're looking at ShoWTimE's main nexus. Alrighty, so here we go. A Terran versus Protoss between two of Europe's greatest. Now, at this point in time, right, if you're watching this video shortly after it goes live, there's a bit of a scarcity when it comes to replays, it seems, because I think most of the top-level pro gamers are currently preparing for IEM Katowice, which is going to be taking place at the end of this month. Now, the total prize pool for that tournament is, if I'm not mistaken, $250,000. I believe they actually lowered it as well because this time around it's taking place online rather than offline. So if I understand correctly, they're going to be mixing in the additional prize money. I think originally it was supposed to be 400k, but I think they're going to be mixing in that prize money in future events now. But anyways, doesn't really matter. Long story short, it seems that a lot of the top-level guys, like for example Cyril, are just simply not showing their games. Now, luckily for us, apparently this series was played as the grand finals of the ESL Open Cup number 56. A smaller online tournament, a couple $100 on the line, and apparently these two made it to the grand finals, which is fantastic because otherwise there wouldn't really be nearly as many games for me to go ahead and cast. Either way, let us figure out what ends up going down in this game. So I was going to cast the entire best of 5 series. However, several of you watched this series live apparently while it was played, and well, they mentioned that apparently game number 3, which is this one on Oxide, is by far the best game. So let us watch some spectacular StarCraft 2, shall we? Alright, so both of these players, of course, ridiculously good. ShoWTimE, I mean, I've said it many times before, he's very good at just simply not dying to stupid stuff, which sounds like an obvious thing that you want as a pro gamer, but you'd be surprised. Especially with Protoss, since in the early game, usually Protoss only really has a handful of units. It's very easy to accidentally die, right? And you don't really want to have that happen, but if you've ever played any ladder games with Protoss, you'll probably realize, especially if you compare it to, for example, Zerg, right? How many units you actually have. It's not uncommon for Protoss to, up to like the 5-minute mark, have literally like, I don't know, 2 attacking units. There's like very, very little available, which means that, you know, obviously having your structures at the right place is super critical, right? You gotta deal with very limited amounts of scouting information. Now, interestingly enough, this very first adept is walking across the map. Shield Battery is going to finish up in the mineral line here for ShoWTimE, so that means that Clem is going to be forced to send his Reaper on back home. Bunker's going to finish up very shortly. It's not done just yet. Nice target firing right here by the Mawa, but looks like for now he's going to be warded away. Not too surprisingly, of course. You can see the margins though, right? If that SCV would have died, there's a good chance that the Adept would have moved up, and then there's a chance that the SCV that was building the command center would have died. And not only would then Clem have been forced to delay his CC, he probably would have hit a supply block. So lots of small things that these guys are already checking for. Nothing though out of the ordinary just yet. Twilight Council here as a follow-up. Robo facility already started up as well for ShoWTimE. Is he going to be going into the Blink upgrade? No. He will actually not be going into Blink. He's going to be going into the Dark Shrine instead. Alrighty. So Clem already showed us that his defense so far is on point. Let's see if he's going to be ready against those Dark Templar in time as well. The annoying part here for Terran is that you don't really have a whole lot of vision of the Protoss base either, right? So he scouted a shield battery, but yeah, this is the problem. Like I said, that wall-off over here, right? The position here of the structures at the front allows ShoWTimE to get away with very minimal amounts of units. So, what he'll probably do is make a prism out of this robotics facility, and then he's going to try and warp in a couple of Dark Templar on his opponent's side of the map. There's only going to be about 3 gateways here in total, so nothing all too crazy. Clem is trying to get that scouting info, but he won't be getting it. Yeah. Trying to bait the Protoss there to commit with the Adept, but it's not going to happen. I think he did see the Robo. Yeah, he did. So at the very least, something should, you know, tell him here that this might be some early game aggression here with Dark Templar. It's going to be a relatively quick engineering bay, which is what you need to make missile turrets. He should be starting up the missile turrets here very shortly if he wants to defend against them. Okay, there's one missile turret over here, and another missile turret I'm sure will go up in the main base shortly. So already good defense here from the Terran player. So he knows at this point that it's not going to be, so there's the Dark Templar by the way, he knows at this point that it's not going to be a Stargate opener, right? Judging off of the timing there of that Robo facility, so he knows that... well, he will need detection, but not nearly as early as he needs against, for example, Oracles. Well, not detection, rather anti-air. Anyways, those missile turrets can go up a little while later. Already, though, a couple Marines are here, a couple Vikings, and then also a Cyclone. I mean, Clem, yeah, this is pretty much perfect. The Prism will end up getting sniped. Luckily there for Mr. ShoWTimE, he ended up bringing the Dark Templar to the ground. But, I mean, pretty much a flawless game here from both so far. I mean, there's a couple mistakes here and there, right? But, I mean, you can't really look at the Prism the entire way there. And even though that seems a little bit sloppy, it's kind of the standard to just, you know, YOLO it into the opponent's face and hope for the best. Either way, not a big loss. Only a couple hundred minerals down the drain. It means that the third base is going to be ever so slightly delayed. But obviously, those Dark Templar are not just useful on the offense. They're also going to be very useful here on the defense if he wants to. Liquid Clem will probably have a limited amount of scans here. So, yeah, there's the DT already moving forward. Here's one scan going down. But, I mean, this makes the continued aggression, well, difficult to execute. Do you really want to go in there if you're Clem? Oh, he brings okay, that's kind of cool. He brings an SCV here to build a missile turret. So missile turrets, like I said, they are detectors, which is really cool. All right, so Shield Battery is going to finish up over at the third base. Third Nexus is going to finish here shortly. Once the overcharge is available, the defense will be much easier. Now, you do obviously need that Nexus for it to be done. But I think Clem, okay, yeah, you realize this is not going to happen. This is a very high-level move. I think most of us would have committed there. And then we probably would have died to the Disruptor, right? So the Disruptor right now is going to be the weapon of choice here for ShoWTimE. Colossus here as a follow-up as well. Probably will get the extended thermal lens going here shortly. So both players here constantly testing the waters, but yeah, we're really just leading ourselves to a nice mid-game. Good scan there as well, just barely in time. Keeps that siege tank alive. Siege tank almost got gunned down right here by his brother. It's a little bit sad, but it's the story of this matchup. Double Forge now as a follow-up as well, so that indicates to me that ShoWTimE wants to sit here for at least a little while longer and just play that nice macro game. Once again, there's attempted aggression all the time, right? Both players are constantly testing the waters here to see if they can potentially end the game, but it's just not happening. There's a lot of skill checks, right? If you or me would be fighting against these two, we'll probably take like 10 workers worth of damage at least, and then all of a sudden the next push is pretty much impossible to hold. But you can see it's not for a lack of trying here. It's not that they want to play a macro game necessarily, although they probably don't shy away from it. It's just that they're not getting any damage done just yet. Alrighty. And I think this is what we're going to be seeing a lot more as well going into the future. Since we won't be getting a whole lot of balance updates anymore, I don't think, especially when maps, you know, don't get recycled as often as they may have once did. Yeah, we're probably going to be seeing more and more games like this, where both players are just simply going to be able to constantly test the waters but not really get much done. And then eventually we're going to be leading towards those really big battles. Liberator over here. I think it's actually the same one. Probably flew all the way towards the other side. Once again, only to get shot at by a bunch of stalkers, just like he had in the main base. Alright, so what exactly is going to be the next order of business here? Where you can see Clem is finishing up a whole lot of upgrades. +1/+1, stim pack, combat shield, concussive shells. All of it is done right now, which means that all of a sudden these units are going to be much more powerful. He's got 69 workers ready to go. That's pretty nice. 4th command center has started up as well. Probably anticipated his opponent already having the 4th Nexus going up. That one isn't cancelled here. Is there going to be enough, though, for ShoWTimE to defend against this? So there's one Disruptor Ball. Starts bowling a little bit. Gets a couple kills. All right, not bad. Siege tanks, though, leapfrogging forward. Charge is done here for the Protoss player as well, which is nice. It's going to finish up 1-1 here in just a little bit. We saw those forges starting up. They're going to be finishing up their upgrades here shortly. He probably wants to buy time until they're done, but it's still about, I would say, like 20, 30 seconds-ish away. Slowly, though, Clem is moving forward. Okay, there we go. 15 seconds on his upgrades. Yeah, you can see ShoWTimE is waiting. He doesn't really need to charge forward here, but he doesn't really want the Protoss, the Terran player sitting out here either. Well, there we go. Upgrades are done. He decides that it's time to go. Siege tanks will be picked off very easily. Interference Matrix, though, is going to disable one of those Colossi. Disruptor, once again, rolling forward. One of the Colossus does walk forward here a little bit further as well. I think the Interference Matrix, though, is going to wear off, and that means that 3 of those laser giraffes are going to continue onwards. Some of the Terran units get picked up. They're contemplating heading towards the main base of the Protoss, but good defense there once again by ShoWTimE. Waited perfectly there for those upgrades to finish up. And just imagine, right, if he wouldn't have done that, doesn't seem like a big deal. But, Yeah, those 2 upgrades, they make a massive difference. I actually would go as far as to say that if he didn't have those upgrades, the Terran player probably would have smashed him there. Alright, Fort Nexus, by the way, during all of that. So, just to clarify, you had a bunch of siege tanks sitting here. Terran was going for a slow push. He's like, yeah, okay, let me take a 4th. Fort Nexus was starting up in the top left-hand corner of the map. Clem already secured his. Planetary fortress there is being created at this point. Already, though, ShoWTimE, once again. Even though he doesn't know where this Terran player is at, right? Once again, is at the right place at the right time. Very nice, clean game. I think that's the real difficulty of playing macro Protoss. Obviously, in the early game, you have very limited amounts of stuff. But most weaker Protosses at this point will ball all of their units up together, right? And while that's probably what you need if the Terran player decides to go for one big push, like maybe what Clem is going for right now, but it's a gamble when they decide to go into multiple different directions. So you gotta know the speed at which your units will actually travel and how far you can go if in case you need those units once again together. Ooh. Disruptors are so good at cleaning all of that up. Nicely done, okay. So we're really setting ourselves up for a nice macro game. Constant aggression here. There's even a... Oh no, I was gonna say, is that an empty medevac drop? That makes no sense. There's a Widow Mine there, but also that one got no damage done. Okay, so we're 11 minutes and 11 seconds into the match. Resources lost here. Pretty similar, right? I think we can all say that that is pretty much identical. Love this pervert observer, though. Look at that guy. The pervert observer. He's licking his lips. Oh, there we go. Pervert observer once again got the job done. I don't think they have lips to lick, but this guy is. He makes those creepy phone calls after night, or after dark, okay? I'm not entirely sure what he does, but he likes peeking through people's windows. Well, it allowed the Disruptor get some damage in, so can't blame ShoWTimE. Go straight into the next upgrades here as well, so straight into 3-3 right now for those Protoss ground units, which is fantastic. There's the Fusion Core started up as well for Clem. Already making the next weapon of choice here too, so from the Marine Marauder Medevac, Siege Tank Widow Mine, he's now gonna go into the Ghost as well. So Ghosts are obviously fantastic. Even if your opponent doesn't have High Templar, right, their EMP ability is great against units that are casters. So, I mean, you can use it right there against the sentries. You can see their little purple energy bars. But obviously, they're also just good against, well, everything Protoss, right? Because they remove the shields with their EMP ability. He's also going to be going into the Advanced Ballistics upgrade. I don't think we're going to fight here. Are we? I don't know, bro. Well? Nah, I don't think either player really wants to commit. They only want to commit if it's their advantage, right? But it's not likely going to happen. Now, actually, you know what? Clem does see the base over here. I think that's an easy pickup. Yeah, maybe not. Once again, that Observer, by the way, is insanely helpful. Look at that guy. Oh, Clem splitting up his units, creating a bit of a concave. He wants to fight this, but only if he can come in from multiple angles. All right. Okay, once again, Disruptors. Very good hit there. Colossi, though, yeah, are being picked off right now by a couple of Vikings that are available. So a lot of the Colossi actually are going to be picked off. That's, I think, all of them gone. At the same time, though, the Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs are kiting backwards. I don't know. I don't think I like this fight too much here for Clem. I think it's okay, but... yeah, he ended up keeping most of the Disruptors alive. Man, this is actually a crazy battle. That Immortal is helping out a ton. Reinforcing Zealots now joined the fray as well. Some of the units apparently did not get picked off, and I do indeed think that that was a slightly better fight there for Mr. ShoWTimE. That being said, can't really continue pushing here because obviously there's going to be a planetary. He doesn't even really need to see that. He knows that there's going to be a planetary there. It is just the standard thing to do. Well, apparently he still wants to try and press the issue, though. So, warps in a bunch of High Templar. They're going to be merging together into Archons as well. There's still a few Ghosts available. Ooh, nice pickings. Okay. Liberators are going to be joining the fray as well, like I said here for Clem. Or at least I tried to say it. I don't know if I got to finish my sentence. All of a sudden right now, yeah, this is not bad. ShoWTimE could actually move into the natural. I don't mind the idea of moving into the natural. Then again, we can see the whole map and he can't. Yeah, I like this. Big warp in once again. Additional Zealots are going to be joining the fray here very shortly. He's got to be careful though. Can't really leave all of those Archons alone, right? He's trying to bait this player forward here. Looks like the Liberators are going to be picked off. One Purification Nova goes back towards the Natural as well. Good SimCity here, though, by Clem. He's baiting all of those really thick, big Protoss units through the choke points there, which is fantastic. Means that they can only funnel in one at a time. Liberators, though, with their insane ranged upgrade are going to be super useful. Love the Dark Templar here in the mix, but sadly, there is some detection available here for Clem. Well, sadly for ShoWTimE, that is. Zealot at the same time tried to get some damage done in the Natural of the Protoss, or of the Terran, rather, but not happening just yet. Once again, Terran units running from the Purification Novas. This time around, apparently, Clem decided to pick up a few of them inside of a medevac as well. Units are coming in from the side as well. I wonder if maybe ShoWTimE is overextending here. He had an opportunity, but absolutely fantastic control here by Clem. Just does not die. I think this is, as a Protoss player, where you win most of your games. Insane battle. Those splits here by Clem were phenomenal. Alright. Very nice. Very, very nice. That was insane. Wow, okay. So, I just want to emphasize that he was microing against Purification Novas in the Natural, the third, and then, you know, all over this place. Not entirely sure how he didn't accidentally take one of those big balls to the face, but I mean, it works out. Good splits once again. Loses a couple of units here and there, but Martin the Marine, sorry, man. Nobody cared about you. I'm sorry, dude. Hate to burst your bubble. It's the big hits, right? That are the It's the big hits that are the problem. Apparently, Liberator was sent over here as well, so that's going to deny mining time for a little bit. It's going to force a couple of Stalker warp-ins, too. Now, all of a sudden, ShoWTimE is stuck on a, you know, a good army, but not really a sophisticated one. Most of the sentries, I think, got picked off. Yeah, actually, all of the sentries got picked off. It's now Stalkers going up against Liberators and the rest of this Terran force, but the Disruptors are really the only thing keeping this Protoss player in this game right now. Okay. Next weapon of choice is going to be the Archon. I don't mind the idea. It's just that at this point, it feels to me as a Protoss player that you're going to be crossing your fingers and hoping for that big Disruptor hit. Right? If you manage to get the Disruptor hit, it's fine. It's just that Clem so far has been very resilient taking those. Good EMP once again. Gets the Archons. Nice job. Runs away just barely in time. Once again recognizes, okay, there's a lot of Disruptors where this came from. Insane. Terran's so hard to play, by the way, if you want to play it efficiently. It's actually crazy. All you need to do is just micro your heart out, guys. Just don't take damage. It's fine. Alright. Next up, we're going to be seeing a Stargate transition here, apparently, from ShoWTimE. I think that's mostly long-term thinking. If you manage this to max out once again, it could start transitioning towards some of those big late-game units as well. That being said, though, I don't know if there's any time for that, man. Clem, yeah, he's smelling blood in the water right now. He's going to certainly be able to pick up this Nexus. At the same time, ShoWTimE, recognizing that he's not going to be able to take that fight very efficiently, he decides to go for the counterattack instead. This Protoss army, while not very good in straight-up battles per se, it is very mobile, right? You can always recall it as well as at home if you want to. There's energy inside of the main base, so maybe that's where ShoWTimE wants to go next. That being said, though, it looks like he just wants to start picking off structures here as well. A couple of units were in the bottom right-hand corner, but they got picked off. Natural expansion is going to be killed here as well by Clem. At the same time, Planetary Fortress. It's not going to be able to live for very long, especially now that all of those SCVs got blown up. There we go. Lots of workers are being killed. Clem at the same time has moved on over towards the third base location of ShoWTimE. That one will certainly be killed as well. At the same time, ShoWTimE is moving into his opponent's Natural, and this time around, he is getting at least some reasonable Disruptor hits. That command center is going to be cancelled. Now, those Liberators are fantastic, right? There's a reason why usually we don't advise people to base race Terran players. Terrans, obviously, have very, very powerful defensive tools. Units, though, ended up getting recalled towards the top left-hand corner. We do see some reasonable Purification Novas once again rolling forwards. Disruptors, though, this time around on cooldown. Stalkers have decided to walk back instead. They're going to be able to intercept a couple of those medeffects. Will he be able to finish off some more of those ships? Looks like he will. Planetary Fortress here on the left-hand side. Ay, ay, ay. Actually, insane battle, though. Once again, blinks forward, grabs a couple more of those medeffects. Really nicely done. At the same... I've already said it at the same time a million times, but the Liberators now move forward, too. What a battle. At the same time, Look, guys. These dudes are doing a lot of stuff, is what I'm trying to say. Simultaneously, we need more synonyms. Alright, so those Liberators are fantastic, right? The second reason why usually you don't want to really be base racing a Terran is because of the fact that they can lift their structures, right? So if push comes to shove and only a couple, you know, structures actually remain, they can just lift and fly to the center of the map or corner of the map, wherever they like. Now this is a difficult position to break though. Apparently now is the moment where Clem decides to commit. Takes a massive disruptor hits to the face. Liberators though still getting a lot of shots in as well. Good pickup this time around there from Clem. What a fight. Insane. Now I just want to emphasize that ShoWTimE really only has, you know, a couple mining structures. Now once again, dude, this pickup micro is actually crazy. Oh, yeah, if you pick up right as the purification novas go off, obviously you don't take any damage. They don't hit air. And now all of a sudden with all of the stalkers gone, well, I mean, hello. Can you finish these guys up? No? Okay. Well, he's just gonna wait for the recall. Okay. There was a bit of a fight happening here as well in the center of the map. Missile turret is gonna almost be able to get that perv observer. I don't know if that's the one, but it could be. So this is very painful. Now ShoWTimE lost also his source of splash damage, right? Medevacs, though, are very low on energy, so he can definitely continue fighting this. These Marines and Marauders are not going to have an easy time. The Liberators, though, man. The Liberators are constantly zoning away this Protoss army. EMP, once again, being utilized. Nicely done. Yeah, look at the Stalkers here, target firing whatever they can. Going after the air units. Once the air units are gone, his army is much easier to clean up. He does have high ground vision right now, so he can go into the main base as well, picking off as many of these Liberators as possible. Is there enough, though, for ShoWTimE to continue in his game? I mean, he's got, like, no economy. There's a Zealot over here going after the newly acquired command center, but, I mean, Clem still has, yeah, he still has a bunch of mining bases. ShoWTimE realizes here that his supply is effectively half of his opponent, and he decides to tap out. Awesome match. Really hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, hit that like button down below. That way this video may very well get picked up by the YouTube algorithm. Takes about 1 second, so do me a favor, hit the like button if you made it all the way until the very end. Now, of course, if you didn't like the video, feel free to hit that dislike button, guilt-free. Totally fine. I mean, I'd be surprised if you made it until the end of this video and didn't like it, but, you know. You decide where you want to be spending your time, okay? Anyways, guys, for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile. And I'll see you once again in the next one.